We've seen grocery stores scrambling to keep up with demand as panic buying empties many shelves across the country. You've probably seen it yourself as you were shopping over the weekend. Long lines out the door as well as store shelves basically emptied out as people try to stock up in anticipation of a quarantine and certainly fear at a record high this weekend. Joining me on the phone now, Jesse Edgerton, who is a senior economist at JP Morgan. Jesse, give me a sense of how some of these grocery stores are dealing with this sudden demand. We heard the vice president yesterday say, don't panic, there's enough food supply there, but no question, a lot of these companies are overstretched right now.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert on the grocery supply chain, but my impression is that our food supply is pretty robust, and we will be able to keep shipping food from warehouses where it's been sitting to grocery stores. Certainly in my own neighborhood here in New York City, there is plenty of food on the shelves, maybe a little shortage of toilet paper, but I do suspect that, maybe with a few kind of dry days here, we will be able to keep the grocery supply going.
What we've also seen, at least here in New York City and other major cities as well, is a closure of bars as well as restaurants only available for takeout and delivery now. Help me understand what you think the economic impact is as it stands right now. Of course, there is still a lot of testing to be done. The expectation is that the scope of this outbreak will grow. But as you see the numbers right now, what's your assessment?
It's really getting pretty stunning here, I would say, in terms of the kind of direct effects that I would expect to see on the economy from some of these sectors. If you add up all of the things that are kind of directly affected by the coronavirus, things like travel, hotels, restaurants, bars, concerts, movie theaters, sports, etc., all of that stuff is something like 7 or 10% of the economy, probably even a higher percentage of employment, maybe 10% or 15% of employment, something like 18 million jobs. Already we're seeing really massive declines in some of the highest frequency numbers that we can get on these sectors, right? So Open Table has been publishing some data, doing a nice public service there just starting over the weekend. They're showing restaurant traffic down 50% nationwide already, more like 70% in some of the hardest hit metro areas like San Francisco. The movie box office numbers are already down 70%, something like that. Then plus we're actually just going to close Broadway theaters, and there will be no NBA games and NHL games and things like this. So, we're seeing these really massive double-digit declines getting closer to 100% than, maybe the 20% or something we were seeing a week or two ago in lots of these sectors.
Yeah, Jesse,
so
my
if you just kind of do the math on that.
Let's dig into the math too, though, because my concern would be that the idea that a lot of Americans in this country don't necessarily have a lot saved up to weather some of these things. If you are seeing traffic at restaurants drop off, what some of the people in the services sectors here might have to go through if, when we're talking about paid sick leave and any sort of stimulus measures that might be here, haven't been approved by the Senate, so people still waiting on those. What kind of spillover effects could happen here in the short term if even today restaurant workers, people in this industry aren't going to work and aren't getting paid?
I think you have to think it's going to be significant at this point, right? So, if we're seeing a 50+% decline in these sectors that are something like 7 or 10% of the economy, that's already something like a 5% hit to the economy, a 5% decline in income. And then if you think those people that are losing their incomes also pull back on their own spending, you don't have to go very far in this chain to, get very large effects on the overall economy. I would think that we've got to start seeing these layoff numbers, claims for unemployment insurance going up here probably as soon as this week. It's been a little bit surprising that we haven't seen it already, but it's got to be coming here.
Okay, Jesse Edgerton joining us from JP Morgan, the senior economist there. Appreciate your time.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.